Hello, Miss Galatze. Your son, Joseph Stalin, is being prosecuted for crimes against humanity. As of this moment, unless tried differently, will be given the death penalty. I will be the one that will be inducting this prosecution. Since they have the Nuremberg trials going on right now, we couldn't reserve a courtroom. Unfortunately, we are going to have to conduct this trial right here in your living room. May we get started? I called your attorney. He's going to help you testify for your son, who is being held in a maximum security prison for our own safety.
Like a good neighbor, I'm already here. Good afternoon, Miss Galazzi. I'm your defense attorney, but don't worry. I'm going to do everything in my power to prove that your son does not deserve a death sentence. We're ready to get started. Miss Galazzi, is it true that you're a devout Russian Orthodox Christian?
Yes.
And is it true that your son Joseph was also a Russian Orthodox Christian?
Yes, he did very well in his church school in Gori. In fact, he was one of the best in his class.
Do you think that the reason he did well in school was to gain approval from you or his father?
His father? That man was terrible to us. He would come home drunk out of his mind and abuse Joseph and I. Joseph would try his hardest to stop his father. I remember one time he even threw a knife at him. Joseph peed blood for a week. So to answer your question, no, I don't think that pleasing me or his father had anything to do with it.
Do you think that it was to avoid punishment from his father?
You know, because Kohlberg theorized that people act to avoid punishment as well as reward.
In no way going to a theological school was my boy avoiding punishment from his father. Perhaps he could have sought my approval, but I like to think he rather enjoyed school, enjoyed learning, and found comfort in knowledge.
Would you say that Stalin found satisfaction at school?
Yes, indeed.
So according to Kohlberg, that would be when he went through the second stage of his moral development. You know, when he would pursue certain activities for personal pleasure. Can you tell me why Joseph got expelled from Tiflis Theological Seminary?
He shouldn't have been expelled. The only reason he got expelled was because he joined this group that supported Georgian independence from Russia. I believe it was called Masame Dasi.
It seems as though ever since Stalin was 16, he has been involved in radical movements such as that of Masame Dasi and the Bolsheviks, the Russian Revolution Party for Communism. Would you agree?
I would.
Then do you think that the ugly history between him and his father influenced his involvement in these rebellious organizations?
Absolutely. He was always a fighter and he held strong beliefs.
Then would you also agree that the movements acted as a catalyst to the destruction that Stalin had later wrought on Russia?
Yes, having a man as powerful as Lenin to look up to him must have created his thirst for power.
Under Lenin, with this thirst you were talking about, do you think that Joseph would have done whatever it took to get that power?
Whatever it takes.
Well, that must have been when he passed into the third stage of Kohlberg's theory. You know, the stage that suggests that people take on roles to please those around them. So after Lenin died, your son took over. He was the ruler of Russia. How would you describe his rule?
My son was the greatest thought that there ever was or ever will be. He brought us from nothing. He industrialized Russia and transformed it into a superpower. He even gave everyone land. This helped us all. It even caused a huge boom with crop production. We are communist, red and proud. Even the mighty USA are scared of us.
At what cost?
Settle down, Mr. Fox. We must have order in this court. Thank you, Judge. Can you explain to me, an American man, why you saw him as such a great leader?
He brought us out of the war as a victor. He saved Russia. He might have used extreme methods, but he saved Russia from the Nazis. Even in American eyes, Nazis are viewed as much worse than us Soviets.
Now for the fun part. No more BS. Yes, your son may have provided food for his country, though only from the land that he stole back from the peasants and forced to work for it. He forced industrialization on a country that was not ready for it. Not only did this destroy the environment and created terrible working conditions for the workers, but this also caused the worst famine in human history. By 1933, 7 million Ukrainians, nearly 25% of the population, including 3 million children, perished due to being deprived of the food that they had grown on their own land. Not only was he murdering innocent people, but also he was paranoid about the people around him. This paranoia led to the purge and execution of 36% of the communist membership and one-half of his officers. This was all between 1936 and 1938. That is 2 years. 2 years. By the end of his reign, Stalin was responsible for the death of 40 million men, women, and children. I think we're done here.
Hold on. I have a few more questions to ask Miss Galazzi. Basing off this idea that Kohlberg's theory is correct, then do you think that your son developed in the 5th and 6th stages of morality?
The 5th stage of morality states that one has a greater understanding of right and wrong in a judicial or traditional sense. The 6th stage states that one has a greater understanding of right and wrong in a more universal sense, like human rights.
Well, now, by the time he was out, he had lost his mind. He had no respect for traditional laws, and if he wanted something, he would make a law or bend the rules to get it. In the eyes of the people, he was the law. He had absolutely no regards for others' well-being. He just wanted absolute power, and he'd do whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted.
Could you consider him crazy? I mean, psychologically crazy, to where he would need help?
Of course, he may be my son, but he has done things that no sane man would do. But I don't want to see him die.
Thank you, Miss Galazzi. That's all we need.
You decide.